welcome to the last lesson of part 1. We will follow our normal road. That means we follow a logic road. Last lesson we were focusing a lot on the 1 against 1, and also today we will talk again about some details in the 1 against 1. But we will also talk about our general principles from the red print. First part, so we have 1 against 1, and then the general principles. And at the end of this lesson we will give an overview what you can expect in part number 2. My next step will be when you are back in China, that we are going to start to work with micro teaching, with micro groups. Let's say you bring 20 coaches together, 4 groups of 5 or 5 groups of 4. I give you an example. I give you a subject for one training. Then each one is making his own training. Then you sit together in your group of 4 coaches and you explain your exercise and you discuss together. And then you have mentors like the Chinese mentors, my Chinese friend, myself, Roy, and so on, who can help you to guide in a certain way. This is the way we are working more and more in Europe, what we call micro-teaching. Small groups working together with a couple of coaches together, Chinese, European coaches, because I say the Chinese coaches are more important than me. We only want to leave a legacy and you have to continue. Again, what I want to say is, we are not there to tell you how you have to do it. We are there to inspire you, to give you a guideline how you can be creative for yourself to become a top coach. We are not there to judge. We are there to help you out of the 30 and more years experience I have in professional football. And what I see in this interaction is top. But we have to go higher. We have to raise the level. Each time you have to raise the level, you have to think, why do I do this? Do I have the passion to do this? Feedback to go to the next step. We have a video clip from the game China versus Iran in the Asian Cup 1 year ago. In this clip you see it's a wide angle camera, and with this clip we're going to do some analysis. Analysis about the 1 against 1, analysis about the behavior of the coaches. These are 2 top coaches with a fantastic CV. Roy, you can explain a little bit the profile of the coaches.
Well, I think on the one hand side you have Mr. Lippi, who has proven a lot, World Cup winner, Champions League winner. On the other hand side, you have the profile of Mr. Queiroz, who worked alongside Alex Ferguson most of the time on the pitch for Alex Ferguson and had a lot of success with Iran and is now active for Colombia. But I want to stress out what Chris said before. So we're going to look to the players individually in this clip, we're going to look to the coaches, and we're going to look to the tactical principles.
3 important points, as Roy has been mentioning. First, the coaches. Second, what we learned about the 1 against 1. And third, tactical principles. And then, with the deductive methodology, we will also look to a game where I was involved personally, not the semi-final, we will see something from the World Cup.
I just wanted to link my last sentence before you started that with these 3 parts we link to all the lessons we had already of the red.
So please have a look. We will just have a look and then we will start again and give the comment. So you have the time to think and to reflect. Look to the coaches. Now look to the game again. We will look again. First of all, we already helped you with some animation. Stop.
Yes, this is the first 1v1 we see in the game. The 1v1 here is defensively for Iran, and we lose the ball here in this situation.
If you look to the offensive 1v1, we are in part number 4, where you are with your back to the opponent to protect the ball. You need to have stability and you need to use your arms. In the technique of the duel, it is important here to block out your opponent before you receive the ball, to be balanced and to be strong. But look to the body position. You can never be strong with such a body position. Look to the defender of Iran. With one small push, he take out his attacker or his opponent. Look to the position of his feet. They are stable. If you want to show with your cursor the defensive line of Iran, the 3 defenders of Iran. Okay, I don't say more, but have a look a little bit later on. We lose the ball. Look to the coaches. Look to the coaches. The coach, stop. The coach from Iran saying, open up, make space. Marcello Lippo is saying, start to put pressure. So you see that the red team, the Chinese team, is coming to this part of the field where the coaches are. Now, Roy, if you want to show the first attacker of China and show the 2 central defenders. What do you see here? The distance is too big, so Marcello Lippi was saying, go, but not everybody was following. So first, general tactical principle, when you have the ball, be fat, open up as wide and as deep as possible. That is what Iran is doing now. If you don't have the ball, be slim and as compact as possible. So only 10 to 12 meters between each player and between the lines. This is the first general and main principle of how to play in block defensively and how to open up offensively. Have a look now. Stop.
These are not particular 1v1s, but this is a very important moment to explain you the next frame. Please pay attention. Please pay attention to the verbal communication of this midfielder. He is asking to the defender, who is already having a direct opponent, to take his opponent.
And now I will give you, due to what has Roy been saying, the tactical explanation. Roy, show again the 2 attackers. The attackers from China. And show the distance between them and our defensive line. This is a crucial moment of playing in zone. First of all, there is no pressure on the ball. Second, look to our defensive line. It is still 4 against 3. So no problems, no panic. But look to the position of the left fullback. He is totally out. He don't have split vision. He don't see the ball. He don't see his opponent, as we saw with the game from Manchester City. Our center back, who is free. Please, Roy, show him. Our center back who is free, who don't have a man. He has to be more inside. The center back who is marking is now the policeman. So it means he put up the line and the other 3 defenders are out of the line. Now look to the left fullback. He has to be inside of his opponent. And he has to turn so he see the ball and his opponent. And the other central defender have to be close and be in one line. If you look, everybody is looking to the ball from China except the defensive midfielder who is following his man. And this is the moment where we lose and where we take a goal because we are not in organization. because we are not slim, we are not compact, and we don't communicate. And then look to the 1 against 1, what Roy has been explaining, and there you see the problem. Look again. What do you see over here? So much space in the half spaces. These two are totally free. Player on the other side is still free. And there is no communication in the middle. It's 2 against 1 in the middle now. So what you see here is that Roy made a fantastic overview how to work with your players as a coach. That's one of the tasks of an analyst, to show very clear what are the problems, not the problems, what are the challenges, and how we can be better. So the coach and the analyst have to work together to solve these challenges. The moment that Roy was analyst for the young national team of Belgium, he even tagged this when he was looking to the game. Here you see they change side.
Again, you have now the collision of the 1v1s. Actually, we lose now 2 crucial 1v1s in a defensive way, like Chris explained before.
And still the left fullback is not in his position, and the number 6, the defensive midfield player, let his player run without coming back. And here you see how important it is to use your arms. Look to the striker of Iran. He showed to his opponent, take care, I'm there. So he's frightening his opponent just by using this hand, as he has been teached before. Okay, defensively we lose this 1 against 1, but then you see that the striker in the 1 against 1, because he's laying down, and you see the striker in the 1 against 1 against our goalkeeper is fantastic. By mentally challenging his opponent, he losing the ball, and he's still so cool in his head, mentally so focused, that he can dribble the goalkeeper with speed, with fake movement, with change of speed, and with change of direction, as our 3 coaches. So here, this is an example of the Asia Cup, one of the most important things you have in China for football, that there you see what are the challenges for Chinese football for the future. After we were out from the World Cup, the former president, Mr. Du, was asking me to analyze the Chinese team. And we were sitting together with people from Cfa, with everybody, just in a relaxed way. What is what we saw, and what can we do for the future? So this report we just took out from what we saw about 1.5 years ago. So what did we saw? We saw that some players were too old and didn't have enough quality to have the level of the top teams in Asia, and for sure not in the World Cup. Positive was that we saw that the players were having the right winning mentality. What was important? If we want to start again, we have to start the process now. What we are doing to raise the bar, to make Chinese players better, to make the coaches better.
These were the suggestions we gave after the tournament in order to develop Chinese football. And I think you can. Sorry, Tracy.
The general way of working, the red print, what we are doing now.
It's an overview of what we still need to do work on, what we need to develop in China together with everybody.
大家好，我是这款游戏的策划。我想问大家一个问题啊，你觉得一款游戏里最重要的是什么？那还要想吗？衣服啊，什么打击感、爆率高，那都是弟弟。教育能。
小球赏赐于功臣吧。主公，子龙不服，擂台比武吧。
诺，赵云将军加油。
And this is, we are already busy with it, also regarding Shanghai and all the other training centers with our local MAs together.
And an important sentence is the last one. We need to support everybody who want to work with your own players, with your own coaches, with Chinese players and with Chinese coaches. That's our task. That's what we have to do in the future. And that's what the president and the GS, and Mr. Foubo and Mr. Guacumbo decided together with us. We need to go for good coaches, good players, elite camps, bring the good coaches, good players together, and let's start again and make the best for China. Also, Coach Litier is working very hard with his players, and we have to support them. We have to support each other. Then there is a road for China.
This is another overview of our tactical principles, just to introduce the next clip, and that will be the last one for the 1v1.
It's a clip that I saw Iran against Japan. There is the building up. There is the building up. They lose the ball, and look here for the 1-against-1. Diagonal, fake movement, scoring. Even against a good team like Japan, the 1-against-1 is super important. So Iran did the same. They were putting pressure. The same striker was putting pressure. And there you see, by his education, 1-against-1, even against good Japanese defender, he could score. Just to focus the last time on the 1-against-1. And now we go to the general principles of our tactics in the red print.
So as Chris said, now we are focusing on the tactical module. So we already had introduction, player education, and coach education. So to give you more into detail, the tactical module is built up out of the tactical principles, where we today will introduce you to the general principles. And in the future, we will go more into detail regarding the tactical principles, and even will show you how to incorporate them into trainings and step-by-step for the players. Besides that, you also find analysis and scouting in the tactical module. And this is just a short introduction that we have incorporated in the red print, because we have separate courses for analysis and scouting. So this gives you already a little bit of an overview of what you can expect in the future. So now, as mentioned, we are in the general principles, and we will show these first a general clip without any drawings. Then Chris will go more into detail in the general principles, translated by Tracy, and then we will see the general principles in action on the clip we will show you.
This was a very emotional game for me.
So this is the game Belgium against England in the World Cup for the 3rd place. This is wide-angle footage, as mentioned. And the reason why we chose a clip is because there are so many details to find in that we wanted to bring this to the coaches in order to explain the details of the general principles to them.
This was a very emotional game for me, because for the 3rd and the 4th place, as a small country that Belgium is, 3rd and 4th place in the World Cup. It is at the beginning of the game, and it's still 0-0. Please have a look. Belgium is in yellow, England is in red. Okay, we are working now with the general principles on the whole pitch. I start with the first 6 general ones. What we already repeated 100 times, football is working with space and timing, independent of your perfect technique. If you run in ball possession or in ball loss, you need to run hard, but also smart, not too much. We always want to create numerical advantage due to the 1 against 1 or due to positional play and overload. A part of your space is the space view, not only horizontal, but also vertical. As we saw in the beginning of the quote of Mr. Pereira, the modern football is high intensity. You don't have the time to think. It is all high intensity. And you have to remember the 2 words, what we will repeat enough, animation and organization. Animation is around the ball, organization is away from the ball. If you have the ball, you need to be as fat as possible. That means deep and wide as possible to create space for each other. In the space that you're created for your team, you have to be creative and flexible. If we have the ball, we need to create offensive triangles with 2 points in front of the one who have the ball. When you don't have the ball, you need to be as thin, as compact, as narrow as possible to reduce the space. Maximum around 12 meters from 10 to 15 meters between each other. And by turning the offensive triangle to defensive and having 2 supporting players who can cover each other, you go automatically to the defensive triangle. And then we come to a very important topic in China, communication. As we saw in the clip China-Iran, the communication was not good in the defensive line. The organization was not good in the defensive line, and we give too much space away. And the communication has to be between goalkeeper, defender, midfield, and attackers. So it means between the different lines, but also between duos. If you saw the 2 central defenders, they were not communicating because one was going down, one was going up. But there also need to be not only between 2 players, but also between 3 players in the triangles, and between 6 players in the diamond, and so on, and so on, and so on. In the next clip, the same clip as we saw before, we will show you in reality what we just explained now, the general principles. I hope you are looking very well to the clip we showed, and now we will analyze the clip due to this or related to this general principles. To the first phase of play, the start of play, you see that the goalkeeper is putting the ball in the middle, so we have 2 possibilities. You see that our 2 central defenders are on the same line, left and right from the box. And you see that we are already making a triangle and a diamond in the midfield, and that we stretch as wide, as deep as possible. Now we go step by step. Okay? You see Thibaut Courtois, the goalkeeper of Real Madrid. Stop. You see the triangle, the offense triangle in the midfield. You see the 2 wing backs as wide and as deep as possible. See our 2 offensive midfield players in the half spaces. And you see that our striker Romelu Lukaku from Inter Milan is pushing the defense as deep as possible. Then one of the possibilities in the start of play is to kick a long ball to the striker. But you also see that the 5 defenders of England are pushing up. And you see that the 3 or 4 offensive players are ready to give directly pressure to our defenders. Okay, we look further. Here you see very clear, as deep, as wide as possible. So you see also that our right winger is already pushing up. That's what we call being fed and look to the two central defenders. The moment that the goalkeeper is kicking, they are starting to run. Show them, Roy. So you see our two central defenders, three, they are all already running before the goalkeeper kicks. Okay, next step. Long kick. Stop. What do you see? For me, this was not a good kick because when I want this, I want that this kick is in front of Lukaku so he can protect the ball. But no problem. Directly, the Belgian team is taking organization again. You can lose the ball, but then immediately reaction, organization. And what do you see? They are not afraid to play 1 against 1. Okay. You see Axel Witsel, who has also been playing in China, start a communication. You see suddenly 1 second later, the team is compact and slim because we don't have the ball. Directly a defensive triangle. And Roy, just show the position with your cursor from Lukaku. 1 second later, he's there to take a defensive position. Due to this position, due to the communication of Witsel, Belgium will win the ball again. You see again the defensive triangle. And we have the ball. Here you see that when you have the ball, you have to be patient. And you need to organize again. So don't lose the ball and search for possibilities. Suddenly you see that we are building up again. We change direction and we see the space in front of our right defender because our offensive line is pushing up. Please, Roy, show our two wingbacks, the position of our two wingbacks. They are in the back of the defender, so the defender, it is very difficult for him to see his opponent. But Vincent Kompany decides to keep the ball and to play to the other central defender. And here you see clearly, if we have the ball, there is also organization in front of the ball, around the ball, offensive organization away from the ball to push the English defense as deep as possible. I hope you understand the difference between animation and organization. Later on we will show when the ball is more in front, then you have the organization behind and the animation in front. This is crucial to understand. Okay, we go on. We keep the ball. No possibility, so we start again. Automatically you see again the same start of play as we had before. Goalkeeper at the ball, 2 men on the side, strikers deep, and half spaces. But now the goalkeeper take another decision and he is building up on the other side. We call this switch of play. Everybody can do this in the center. You see directly that Hazard comes under to create space for Kevin De Bruyne, who is beside him. So with a long ball, you need to have somebody under the ball, and you need to have somebody who is going and who is jumping into the space. Here you see the importance of the goalkeeper. Already 2 times the goalkeeper is starting the action. Also here you see that on the right side, the players are still open to create space for the other players. You can go on, and you see the triangles and the square in the midfield. Look now to De Bruyne. He is there. And what do you see? Now the ball is in front. The organization behind this directly move the block, and the animation is around the ball. De Bruyne leaves the ball for Lukaku, and we have an opposite move. And here you see the importance of verticality. Stop. Here you see the importance of the two wing backs. On the left side, Nasser Chadli. On the right side, Thomas Meunier. Directly they go deep. Directly De Bruyne is going deep. Verticality. To the run he's doing. The right wing back Meunier. Please have a look that he's using the curve run. He's first going out and then going in to make space for himself. What did you saw? The two wing backs are running like hell and opening up, while the animation is in front. Alderweireld is communicating to everybody to keep organization. And then you see 1 second later, due to this hard runs, Belgium is scoring after 3 or 4 minutes in a very important game. Fantastic goal. You see the same as we saw with the corner against Japan. The two wing backs have a crucial position. We are almost at the end of this lesson, and I will start now with question and answers and tasks, and then we end up with a nice conclusion. And then I have 3 questions. If you look to all these general principles, which ones are known and used in China, which ones needs to be developed in China, and what is the reason behind the above mentioned questions? With these questions, we want to challenge you as coaches. 3 things, 1 against 1 as the main topic, where you use the offensive and the defensive triangle as organization. Second one, based on the general principle, please find yourself clips from wherever you want, linked to these principles. And the last one, make 1 exercise, not more, 1 exercise in the general training schedule, orientation phase, learn phase, game phase, based on 1 general principle. We give 1 example. You take an exercise in the orientation phase with a topic, creating numerical advantage. What can we expect in the future in part 2, in part 3, in part 4? Why this? Because football is an evolution every day.
This we already saw in the beginning, I think, of lesson 5. It's the what, where, who, when, why, but it's adapted to how we see the future of the red print. As Chris said, the stress will be on the next step, and that is micro teaching. And the rest we are already on the right way in order to let you as a coach get to know the red print and the process we want to go on. As you all know, we are for the moment in the tactical module, but we have still a long process to go in the tactical module. We just touched the surface of the tactical principles in the red print. Then we also have technical module, mental module, physical module, where we go more into detail in the specifics regarding several techniques you can train your players on. Here in this slide, we want to give you a little overview of what you still can expect in the future. The training content, we can go more into detail. For example, we have several technical trainings where we will explain in the technical module. Besides that, we also have position-specific trainings that are linked to the scouting course, but also to the tactical and technical module. As I already mentioned as well, we have also an analyst course and a scouting course lined up for those who are interested. And we cannot forget, and this is to repeat what we already said, that why we do it, why we try to everybody influenced by the red print, and why we want to develop Chinese football is that the young children can become the best possible footballer we can guide them to.
If you want to join football, you need to have respect for a young player who can become a champion. If we, as Chinese people, we want to win something, we need to go on with the process. A process that is really supported by everybody in the CFA, and hope that it's really supported by everybody who loves football and who loves China. But if you want to be a champion, you need to start with education of coaches, education of players, education of everybody around football with respect. If you really want to guide these players to be a champion, at the end you will hear the fantastic song of the Champions League. We want to thank you for the attention to the first part we have developed. But we have to go to the next level. We can never be to say, or we can never say, okay, it stops here. You need to be creative. You need to be flexible, and you need to support the football in your country. But together, we will go for the best, and we will reach the top. I especially want to thank everybody to join us. Thank you very much, sister.